All right, so welcome. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
This is the best part. I love it. I usually do a workshop on goal setting for the year in December. So you guys have been around for years and years know that. That was scrapped this year, although it's one of my favorite workshops. I had to change it up because it's so, I literally felt like there was an emergency meeting. That's what tonight is. For several reasons. Number one, if I take anybody, hey Scott, if I take anybody, let's say that I take Tim here, okay? And I make Tim live in a house, and I say, Tim, I've got a king cobra. He's very poisonous, but he's usually not that grumpy. I need you to take care of him, but you can't keep him in a cage. He doesn't like that. For a week. I'll be back. He'll be fine. And I leave him, a 12-foot king cobra in his house. He doesn't know where he is, right? Now, what's going to happen to Tim's blood pressure while he's walking around his house? It's going to go up. What's going to happen to his pulse rate, probably? Probably a little higher, yeah. His digestion, do you think he's going to be digesting food, or do you think his body's going to be working on other stuff? Do you think his body's going to try and keep his blood sugar elevated and ready to run at any moment, fight or flight? Yeah, so how do you think he's going to sleep? As deep as he should? He's going to hear a crackle and be like, oh, like this, right? Now, at the end of that week, if he has a regularly scheduled appointment at his medical doctor and he goes in, what's his medical doctor going to say? Hey man, you're 2 shakes away from a heart attack. You need some cholesterol drugs, some blood pressure meds. You need some acid reflux. And here's the thing. Is his body breaking down, or is it adapting perfectly for the stress he's under? It's not pathological, but watch, if I leave him in that state, I can have some serious issues. But here's the thing, if it's natural adapting, and I give him a bunch of drugs for it, do you think it might actually be way worse than leaving him with the adapting qualities? Yeah. And here's where we come, because watch this. This year has been the most sustained amount of stress that I've ever seen my patients under in the history of doing this for going on a quarter of a century. And I can tell you, it's a real thing. And as you guys are going in, people are saying it. Now, you guys have been under care for years. You guys are generally, you get to the doctor, and every time you go, they're like, I don't know what you're doing, but you're doing it right. Don't change your socks, metaphorically. But for some of you guys who've been under a lot of stress, it's not that way. So I want to make sure that we are covering every base today. Now, let me be clear how this work's going to work today. There's going to be a lot of education. My nerdy side is very, very set on fire with this one. So you're going to hear a lot of research. Sorry. Raise your hand if you're a nerd, you like research. Anybody? Fellow nerds, welcome. But I'm going to give you some research. You guys may get your phones ready or taking notes, right? Because you're going to see research and go click and take a picture of it because you can't write all of it down, okay? So get your phones ready, get your notes ready. Also, this is not a drug pharmaceutical side effects education workshop. Although I'm going to talk a lot about it, this is a solutions workshop. Got it? So bear with me, because this is as important for the solutions as it is anything else. Also, if it's about solutions, one of the first things we need to cover about the problem is you may not actually have a problem, right? And so we're going to talk about that as well. So are you guys ready? Yes. Okay, first of all, disclaimers, okay? Got to put this up here. There is a lot I'm going to teach you. If you've got questions, just like it says, talk to your medical professional. And if they don't agree with some of the things that I'm saying, go find another one who knows something. Got it? You guys ready for that? Now, let's just start with this. What's the world's number one death-causing disease? Heart disease. There's one thing that kills more people than heart disease. Anybody know what it is? Journal of American Medical Association, 2004, January says.
The practice of medicine.
The practice of medicine kills more people than any disease. 999,936 people annually die when they went to the doctor, got the right thing, and they died anyway. Got it? It is the leading cause. So we're going to go through a lot of that. First of all, a heart disease is normal with aging. Is that true or false? False. It is false. Your body was not designed to have heart disease. It's just very common. It's kind of like Steve and I, we were talking about things are common, things are normal. Things are common, things are normal. This is just very common. It is not normal. And the reason, listen to me, that you need to get this is because if you think that it's going to happen, your thoughts are things. What you think about, you bring about. I don't want to be too esoteric with that, but biblically, right? The thing I feared the most has come upon me. It said that in Job, right? So listen, you have to know that if you think it's just normal, you're headed down that road. Turn it around, go the other way. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to literally brainwash you, literally, to make sure you think something different. Okay? Now, truth, heart disease, common but normal. Watch this. This is how bad it is. And at the bottom of that says 95% have atherosclerosis, and that 95% is children. 95% found actually had atherosclerotic phase 1 plaquing, streaking, when they found that when kids had died from auto accidents and stuff below the age of 10. Why? Inflammation, nutrition, and some of the things we're going to go through tonight. Got it? But it's a bad deal. Risk factors. Again, we're going to go through most of this tonight. We're going to do it fast. And some of you guys remember I pastor a church. I can talk 6 hours without breathing. But I'm telling you, it's going to make it 1 hour as close as we can. But you guys can see all of these things. Isn't it interesting that the key factors for heart disease is actually taking a statin or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory? Do you realize that almost a half of all heart attacks that happen today, that if they would not have taken a Tylenol or an ibuprofen, they would have never have had the heart attack? Wow. Did you get that? The majority of all cardiovascular events today that were in the emergency room would not have happened if the person was not deficient in magnesium. Wow. Did you get that? Sherry Rogers, great book, The Myth About Cholesterol, says about that. And you can go through all those things. Everybody got their pictures? If you want them. I'm going to show this exact slide at the end if you didn't get it, okay? Okay, here we go. All right, cholesterol, what is it? It's a ooey gooey substance that God literally makes your body make to kill you. Is that true? No, so if your body makes it, do you think it's supposed to harm you? No, it's not. Cholesterol is literally a repair substance. Got that? It's a repair substance. In fact, the more stress you're under, the higher your cholesterol will go. You know, Paulina is still very sore. She got in an auto accident. Someone hit her from behind. Guess what her cholesterol is going to be over the next several weeks? It's going to be super high. If she just happened to have a day where she doesn't do this, but if she was just a regular person and she was going in for a yearly and they did a blood test, guess what they're going to see in her cholesterol? Through the roof, right? Not the case. It's nothing to worry about. But cholesterol, there's two. But good is what? HDL. Bad is what? LDL. Is that true? Is there something bad in your body makes that's bad for you? No, we have villainized LDL. Now let me just say this, LDL, it means low density lipoprotein. Low density means it's soft. High density means it's what? Hard. Low, they think the low one's bad because that's what they think ooey gooey gobs up stuff, right? The reason that's not true is because the ooey gooey is what covers anything that's a wound or a raw spot on the inside of a vessel, which is a good thing, right? You get all this blood with all this. Imagine blood is almost like water with a bunch of rocks and stuff in it, and it's going around because all the red blood cells and the platelets and things like this, and they're making sharp turns at 100 miles an hour. Do you think it might start to wear and tear a little bit? Yeah. It's a living tissue. It's all right. It heals, but if it's starting to break down a little bit because you've inflamed it with a bunch of diet and stress, et cetera, then guess what the ooey gooey LDL is going to do? It's going to actually create a wall. It's going to slick it up so it protects it so that it can heal on the inside. Isn't that great? Amazing. The only problem that we have is when we start to have long-term stress and oxidation or oxidative stress and inflammation that begins to harden those healing plaques, if you will, and then we have atherosclerosis. Got it? Okay, lean into the vowels. Atherosclerosis. So, but here's the thing. It is the hardening of what is appropriate. Here's the crazy part. We actually, as humans, look at things and we'll get the wrong perspective on certain things. For instance, I used this analogy before. Like if I went out today and there was a bird on the side of the road that was dead, and not to get too gross, but there was maggots on it, I could look at it and go, wow, who knew maggots could jump up and grab a bird like that? So crazy. Killed another bird. The maggots didn't kill the bird. Would you agree with that? Yes. But I could come to a false conclusion by jumping to it. Do you get that? So here's the thing. Cholesterol is the same thing. Cholesterol is not a bad thing. It's a great thing. In fact, LDL actually walls things off. Cancers actually your body looks at most cancers like it's a wound, and it surrounds it, wraps it up, and it encapsulates it so it can't go anywhere. Guess what? One of the substances it uses to do that? Cholesterol, and specifically LDL cholesterol, which is why if you actually decrease your cholesterol, guess what you also get? Cancer. It's a big part of that. Did you get that? Wow. Everybody with me? Is cholesterol a villain? No. Everybody say, thank God for cholesterol.
Thank God for cholesterol.
Sounds opposite, doesn't it? But it's actually a good thing. Okay? Now, let's go through it a little bit. Okay? First of all, let's talk about the problem. If it's about cholesterol, you think you have a problem if you have a number that's, quote, high. What does that number have to be right now to be considered high? Over what? Over 200. It's crazy. Everybody said at the same time that you know it. But 10, 15, 20 years ago, actually 15 years ago, guess what the number it had to be over?
240.
No, 300. And then I think it was 10 years ago, or 8 years ago, they moved it to, I've been doing this so long, I don't remember, you can look it up, but they changed it from 300 to 240, and they took it from 240 down to 200. Now, this book says Overdiagnosis, Making People Sick in the Pursuit. This is a great book. This is actually from a page in the book. You guys ready? On this page, it says they changed the cholesterol from 240 to 200, and this is the old definition. There was 49 million people diagnosed with high cholesterol, which again, if you put this over 300, there was very few people. But watch this, as soon as you change this number, you increased the new cases that need drugs by 42 million. When you start to approach a doubling of how many people need the drugs, what do you think this is really about? Now watch this. Now if you look at the data, you guys know that I'm about the data. Look at the data, just the data. Guess what you find out? Do more people have heart attacks above 240 or below 240? Below. And you start getting below 200, you really got a lot more cardiovascular events. But just look at the other stuff, like blood pressure. When blood pressure went down from 160 to 140, you had 13.5 million more people that, quote, needed blood pressure meds. And they just changed that this year. Did you see that earlier this year? Right? They had like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, right? What does that mean? It means we just start meds earlier. That's all that means. And you can look at like T-score. Women for osteoporosis, when they changed this from 2.5 T-score down to 2.0, we increased the amount of women that needed this, literally almost doubled it. Do you see this? Getting close to that. I think it was 80%. Right? Now some of you guys have been talked into, or your friends have been talked into, that you got bones that are ready to break at any moment, right? Because they went down from 2.5 to 2. Is that true? Absolutely not true. Okay, so anyway, I just want, first of all, to know a solution to the problem, first of all, you have to understand that you may not have a problem. Got it? Okay, good. Next, let's go through some data. You guys ready for data? Oh, I love data. Here we go. So primary prevention of acute coronary events with lovastatin. The lovastatin versus a placebo. What you find is, okay, right here, the total mortality at 5 years is 2.4 and 2.3, which guess what that means? It means that there's no statistical difference. Wow. Right? Guess what that actually means? It means it's not doing anything for anybody good anyway, right? Here's the problem with it though. If you take something, there's what's called a nocebo or placebo effect. Have you heard of placebo effect? Placebo effect means I think it's doing good for me, and as a result of me thinking it's doing something good for me, it actually does something good for me, period, because I think it's doing something good for me. Did you get that? It's a real thing. All right, let's go to another one, okay? Everybody got that one? Perfect. How about this one? The Prosper trial. Doctors never want to talk about this. Okay? 5,800 people in this, 50% women, older women too. Watch this. History of or risk factors for vascular disease. Now here's the thing. That means you've had a heart attack or you've had a stroke or you've got major risk factors currently. You absolutely need the drugs. That's what that means, right? Now watch this. It's basically total mortality, no difference at all. Because right now, you think, well, you know, if you haven't had a stroke or something, but I've had a heart attack, I have to take the drugs. You hear this from your friends and family that you're going to talk to? By the way, can I make another statement before we get too far into this? Every person, you're going to listen tonight, and yes, I want this for you, but I need you to listen so that you can go have a real educated conversation with people that are not in this room tonight. So listen up. Get this, take notes, don't be lazy, get it all down, because the last thing you want is you go have a conversation and you go, I don't know, you should talk to Dr. David. Take pictures, take notes, whatever you need, okay? So, crazy, crazy benefit, all right? So now watch this. Here's some of the dangers. Liver damage, okay? Why? Because it's actually blocking enzymes. How about this? 14 times increase in neuropathy. Okay, let's talk about this. Everybody look, this is your nerve right here. My arm is your nerve, okay? I'll get out of the way. My arm is your nerve. I'll go this way so you guys can take pictures. I'm out of the camera though. All right, so watch. So I'll go underneath. So this is your nerve, okay? Whatever nerve, I don't care what nerve. This is your nerve. Around that nerve is surrounding it in basically cholesterol. Okay, 60% of it's cholesterol anyway. So it's like a fatty layer around it. You know what it's like? It's like copper. Fat for nerve transmission, for electricity, is like copper. So I hit this nerve with electricity and it goes zing all the way down. But if I actually keep my body from making cholesterol because I'm on a statin drug or a cholesterol drug, basically it starts to, quote, demyelinate. So it actually starts to take pieces off of this along the way, and now you're missing pieces of copper along the wire, and so instead of going zip like this, the electricity does this, chick, 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 like this, right? This is why there's a 14-fold increase in peripheral neuropathy, and you go, well, thank God I don't have peripheral neuropathy. But something like just your feet hurting is a peripheral neuropathy, right? And you're like, well, really? Yes, it is. You driving and you start to get tingling in your fingers, that's a peripheral neuropathy. Or you sleeping and your hand falls asleep, that's a peripheral neuropathy, right? But here's the thing. Look at this. What does your nervous system control?
Everything.
And every bit of healing and your body's ability to adapt and function. Now, if it increases peripheral neuropathy because it causes nerves, and it's just talking about peripheral nerves, but it's all nerves, and I cause every nerve in your body to demyelinate some, what happens to your body's ability to control healing with your entire nervous system? Starts to shut down, which is why, watch this, this is a crazy study which found every single point that you decrease your cholesterol, your increased risk of death goes up 36% every single point for all causes of death. Why? Because if I decrease the nerve supply to an organ, what happens to the organ? It what? It dies. It begins to just dysfunction and die. Everybody with me? And I could go through severe joint pain and ligament rupture. You think that might be important for a chiropractor to know about? Yeah, joint rupture. Hello? Muscle wasting and atrophy, heart failure. Isn't that interesting? Why would your heart fail? And it's because the preferred energy source for your heart is CoQ10, right? To create CoQ10, guess what your body needs to create CoQ10? Cholesterol is the base ingredient, and it goes all, I'll show you the pathway here in a minute. So if I don't have CoQ10 for my muscle to use, guess what? It can stop. Isn't this weird? Do you feel like you're in the twilight zone for a second? You're like, but they give that to heart patients, people who actually have heart issues. Limits the protection from cholesterol fighting cancer. They actually did a cancer study, and every single time they put LDL cholesterol with cancer in a petri dish, it killed the cancer every single time. Wow. Say, thank God for cholesterol. Thank God for cholesterol. Good. And it stops CoQ10 production. I'll go through that here in a second. So here's another one, Lipitor, the Thief of Memory. That's the name of the book. This guy, Dwayne Graveline, MD, he was an astronaut for NASA, super intelligent guy. And his experience, they put him on a statin drug, and he went into full-blown dementia. And the reason he found out about it is he went grocery shopping, and he came out to his car, opened the trunk, and the exact groceries he just bought were in his trunk. And so he's trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And so he walks back in, and the guy goes, yeah, you were just in here. And so he walks over to the other lady that he checked out with, I guess, and she goes, yeah, you just bought all this stuff a while ago. But he went in with the same list because he did not remember that he'd done that. Got that? Do you know right now there's over 250,000 people in nursing homes throughout the United States with a diagnosis that says statin-induced dementia. But it can be dementia, it can be Parkinson's, so movement disorders, it could be full-blown whatever. And here's the thing. Well-meaning, loving doctors do not want to cause that in people, but they've been indoctrinated to think and believe that this is helping. Got that? So, 2 weeks ago, I had a person get off their blood pressure meds and cholesterol drugs. They didn't need them. Honestly, I didn't tell them to take. I can't legally tell you to not take the meds, but they weren't going to take them anymore. And they were loving about it. And they told the doctor. And the doctor literally goes, "Well, then buy your coffin." Wow. I'm like, first of all, you're never my doctor again. Yep. Ever. But the point is, can you be well-meaning and be well-meaningly and be wrong? Yes. So again, I move on. So dangers of cholesterol drugs. First of all, the problem is your brain tissue is made of 60%, right? You lower this, and guess what? You lower serotonin, and it also causes depression and anxiety, right? What do you see in old folks' homes? You see a lot of people depressed, right? Guess what they give almost all of them? Aspirin a day, cholesterol, blood pressure, antidepressants, and sleeping meds. And you start with those 5. Actually, I had a nurse that worked at a nursing home, and even if you weren't on them, you just start on the 5. You start them right away, because you know you're going to get depressed. You can't go see your family anymore. Just start everybody on the same thing. Other problem, CoQ10, antioxidant needed to transfer energy from food to our cells. Again, heart uses it big time, and you block the production of it. So huge part of this. Got it? And the network is HMG-CoA. Say it to your friends. You'll sound really intelligent. And this is it. So here it is. So acetyl-CoA goes to HMG-CoA in the liver. Statins block this reductase. This is an enzyme that continues the flow of this. And it goes down to squalene, and it makes cholesterol. Got it? That's how you block the production of cholesterol. But you also block the production of what? Dolicol and coenzyme Q10, so CoQ10. This, I don't have time to get into this. You don't want to block this one either, right? And each one of these has pathways that go a million different places, like this. This is another one. Watch this. What's crazy is, you block this right here, okay? It inhibits this, same thing I just showed you, but magnesium is used to regulate HMG-CoA, right? Now, what does that mean? That means if magnesium is low, guess what you're going to have issues with? HMG-CoA, which is part of the whole pathway into the whole thing again. Does it make sense? So you also need what? Magnesium. Now, I'm going to get one step further here. And you're like, I can't handle it. It's too much science. but bear with me, okay? This is cholesterol. Everybody see cholesterol?
Yeah.
Go down the pathway here, and what do you see?
Everything.
Aldosterone hormone, cortisol hormone. Watch this. All your hormones, testosterone. So if you actually take a statin drug, you cannot make these hormones. Everybody got that? Do you realize how many low T centers have opened up?
Yeah.
Or people taking progesterone creams, or having hot flashes, or all of these different things, jacked up hormones left and right. And one of the reasons is, when you metabolize your statin drug, do you metabolize all of it? No. So guess what happens to the unmetabolized parts? You get rid of it. How do you get rid of it out of your body? No, you pee it out, and it goes into the water system. Does the municipal water system clean out metabolized drugs? No, it doesn't. So when you're drinking your tap water or taking a shower in it, you're literally got cholesterol drugs and blood pressure meds and antidepressants and all the rest, which is why you should have some kind of filter on your stuff. Don't do it. She's like, I'm never taking a shower again. Next, let's go this.
That's bad.
Her husband just went, great. All right, so what should your blood pressure be? Everybody say it.
120.
100 plus your age.
Yeah, you hush, you already know, right? What have you been told? 120 over 80. Now let's do this. You come here, come on. I didn't tell her I was gonna do this. And then I need, who else? Let me see. I don't have anybody that's like, oh, Joe, come here. Joe, come here. Joe. Now Joe, actually you stand on this side. Okay. Joe's about my size, okay? Endo's over here. Now watch this. Now you stop. Now watch this, okay? Now, everybody should have the same blood pressure. What is blood pressure for? It actually is the pressure to keep blood going through the system, right? Now, is there more of Joe than there is of Endo?
Yes.
Yes, there is. There's more of me. There's more, like we're just bigger. We're also taller, right? And so now watch. Do you think it may take a little bit more pressure in Joe than it does in her?
Yes.
So should their blood pressure be the same?
Wow.
If you're like 95 and you're this tiny little 95-pound, if you're wet, little bitty lady, versus a guy that's like 6'5" and an ex-football player, do you think it should be the same? Do you see where I'm going with this? We can't cookie cutter what your blood pressure should be. Everybody got that? Good. Give them a round of applause. Thank you, guys. Good. Good case in point. Now watch this. If I live about quarter to half a mile from here, if I just sprinted all the way to my house, just sprint, and you took my blood pressure when I got home, what should it be?
High.
It would be really, really high. Could it be like 260 over 180 high? It could be, yeah, it could be. Absolutely could be that high. And if you look at that, you're like, holy Lord, he's going to die. He's like, no, Is the body made to have times like that? Yeah, I'm sprinting, right? Got it? Everybody with me? So blood pressure is what it should be for you at a time when you need it to be whatever it's supposed to be. Is it the same when you're sleeping or when you're upright? No, it should be down. It should be higher when you're standing up, right? Your blood pressure should be what it should be. Now, are there problems with function that can cause pathological changes? Yes, let's get into that, okay? This is how it causes it. First of all, there's inflammation inside the wall of blood vessels, which is the most common way to actually have a high blood pressure, okay? So you eat a bunch of burgers and fries, or Thanksgiving you had a lot of pie and ice cream, and you created inflammation, and the wall of the vessel got thicker, so the lumen where the blood goes gets smaller. So guess what happens to the pressure? Right? It gets higher, right? So now all of a sudden it gets high. I'm going to show you a product tonight called, I think it's BP Support. It's got grapeseed extract. It's a very, very pure, very powerful antioxidant. Well, if I give you an antioxidant, it decreases your inflammation, and the wall of your vessel gets thinner, and the lumen gets wider. Guess what happens to your blood pressure? Do you know if you're actually taking grapeseed extract, in many studies it's been shown to be twice as effective as blood pressure medication? Oh, they don't want you to know that, do you? Guess what the side effect of taking too much grapeseed extract is? Nothing. Right? Guess how much it costs?
You pee more quickly.
Yeah, you pee more grapeseed extract. Right? All right. So there's a problem when you live like this, and everyone has a side effect. Now, where did blood pressure meds come from? 1962, there's a researcher in South America, that was looking at pit vipers and their venom, snake venom. And they showed how the way the venom kills is the venom goes into the prey, the animal, whatever, and it literally causes the blood to die, or parts of it to die. Everybody hear that?
Yes.
That's awesome. Somebody's taking a lot of pictures. I love it. So anyway, your entire camera roll is full. But so I love you, Marv. So anyway, so listen. So the guy actually said, he theorized, hey, I think I can take some snake venom, give it to somebody with high blood pressure, kill part of their blood. It'll decrease the viscosity, the thickness of the blood. Their blood pressure will go down, and I'll have a cure for high blood pressure. And guess what he did? He gave them snake venom, they swallowed it, and their blood pressure went down, and like, hey, we got something good here. Now, we can't milk snakes for millions and hundreds of millions of people, so they created a synthetic version of pit viper snake venom, and guess what? Lisinopril and the top 12 blood pressure meds, all it is synthetic snake venom. And I'm the quack. Right? But guess what? If you take blood pressure meds, they have massive side effects. You're literally taking something that God meant to create death, and you're trying to create life. You see, I don't think you can come back around on that one. Here's what happens. If I take snake venom and I'm killing blood, I damage very fragile capillary beds eventually, which is why people that are on blood pressure meds eventually have peripheral, like swelling. They don't travel well. They get on a plane, they just blow up like a fish because the capillary beds are so fragile. Also, the way that the venom works is it goes through a second pass through the lungs to become active, but when it becomes active first in the lungs, oftentimes it'll cause damage to the lungs in the capillary beds. And so there's a percentage of people that take lisinopril and these blood pressure meds who have damage to the lung tissue, and they start getting a cough. And they chronic cough. I had a guy one time who, it was through the internet, trying to discuss things with him, and he actually had a cough, went in, they gave him an antibiotic, sent him home. Goes home, doesn't work, goes back another week, gave him another one, goes back another week. They gave him shots of steroid, that didn't work. By the time they actually found that he had damage to his lung, they tried to figure out what it was. Guess what it was? His blood pressure med was killing the lung, and literally he lost like half of a lung because of his blood pressure med. So if you know anybody on a blood pressure med with a chronic cough, tell them to immediately talk to their doctor about their blood pressure med. Listen, you're the only people in the whole community. Now, we have 400 offices doing a workshop like this. We have 100,000 people that are going to go through this. But some of your friends aren't listening to this. Got it? Yeah. So blood pressure meds, lots of side effects. Now, how to overcome overcome this, how to overcome blocked arteries, atherosclerosis, heart attacks, stuff like this. How do you do it? Let's get into that. First of all, this BP support is an awesome, awesome thing, okay? The two main ingredients, I already mentioned one, which is what?
Grapeseed extract.
Grapeseed extract, big, heavy duty, and it's specific, for whatever reason, we're not sure, it really affects lining of vessel walls. So it really works great for blood pressure. Got it?
You should take it if you have blood.
If you do. Now, I'm not giving it to you to switch you out for your drug for this. Again, I can't tell you not to take a medication. I would love to. And that, for one point, I was that close to going back to medical school just so I could tell you guys not to take meds legally. But this is a support, right? Now, if you want to know more about that or work with that, again, just let me know. Got it? But that's the first one, grapeseed extract. The second thing is the Bonita peptide protein, okay? What that is a specific peptide from a specific dried fish. I know it sounds weird, but they did research in Japan, which has one of the lowest amounts of heart disease, and what they were finding is some of the specifics about them on what makes low blood pressure, and one of them is a Bonita peptide protein, and that is the second main ingredient to this. And I can tell you, this is a crazy product. Like, I almost think you could actually make the switch. Legally, I can't tell you to do that, so don't do that. But I can tell you, this is an awesome product if you have blood pressure issues. Got it? Let's keep going though. So here's another thing, thermography. Why would this be something that would help you with heart issues or cholesterol or blood pressure? Let me tell you what. When you do raise your hand if you've had a thermography in the office. So several of you guys, remember what they showed? Like, well, I was doing it for like organs or like women for breast, but then you did my teeth. That's kind of weird. You did my teeth. Well, I had a guy just recently, he was subluxated. He was scheduled for a valve replacement. We're going to do open heart surgery, replace a valve, put a pacemaker in, and then do ablation where they burn part of the heart out, and then put him on a bunch of drugs the rest of his life. He came in, got 2 weeks of adjustments, and his blood pressure that was like 220, 240 over 120, went down, which they couldn't do with the drugs. His tachycardia went completely away just with adjustments. But then slowly over time, even with adjustments, it came back. What does that tell us? There's still something interfering. Got it? And so guess what? We did the thermography, came back, one of his teeth had a subacute infection. Didn't have any tooth pain, but it came back red hot. And so I sent him, here's the thing, because he had high blood pressure again, he couldn't find one dentist to take care of him. I found a friend of mine who's a dentist, super guy. He said, oh, I'll take care of him. And all he had to do was pull the tooth. He had a root canal, it was nasty. One of his family's friends when he was a kid was a dentist. And the dentist literally, as a precaution, would literally drill and fill every single tooth in the kid's head with mercury amalgams, just to make sure that we'd start them right. And so he had just rotten teeth. And when they pulled the tooth that was rotten, he had dripping infection that he didn't know about into his lymphatics that constantly caused this sympathetic drive, this fight or flight from the infection from his tooth that he didn't know he had. And they were about to do open heart surgery. And as soon as you pulled the tooth, everything started changing. Within 2 weeks, his energy came back, his blood pressure came down, everything. So it's about finding the cause. Got it? Very important. Some of you guys have had crowns, and you may have infection underneath that. So you guys have had root canals. Sometimes it's better just to pull the tooth. Got it? So talk to me more about that. That's why we put this in here, okay? Listen, some of you guys saw the interview with Dr. Blvd, right? You guys see the Indian guy from Germany? Amazing guy. He said, I can't wear a mask because I've got borderline high blood pressure, because as soon as I put a mask on, guess what happens? Blood pressure goes up. He goes, and I'm not gonna do that to my body. And so literally, I don't have it up here. I don't have time to do it tonight, but if I take one of you guys and put a pulse ox, I just did it today with children because their school would not take a note from a chiropractor. How crazy is that? Talk about, I don't know, it's ridiculous. So they said they won't take the note. I said, that's okay, I can prove it. I'm also a neurologist, bring it in. And so I took the kids, we put the pulse ox on them, and the pulse oxes were 99, okay? And then put the mask on them, left it on there for a while. One of them needed it on there for quite a while. But then guess what happened to the pulse ox? The amount of oxygen in their blood. It dropped down to 96 or 89 or something like this. Do you realize if your pulse ox goes down 3 points, that the United States of America, the OSHA, which protects workers, that if you work in an environment that decreases your your oxygen in your blood by 3%, that you are not allowed to work in that environment unless you have an oxygen tank to give you oxygen, because it will kill you. OSHA said that, and we're allowing children to go to school and whatever else who have no threat to society with masks on, causing a chronic decrease in oxygen and an increase in CO2, which causes blood pressure issues, etc. Got it? So if you had blood pressure issues, guess what the last thing you need to be wearing? A mask. There's a problem, there's a solution, okay? Also, it's got synthetic fluorides and stuff like this in it. So anyway, there you go. Got it? Next, causes this, and you can see right here, increased heart rate. Why would it increase your heart rate if your oxygen's going down? Because if you don't have as much oxygen, you're gonna have to get more blood through to get the same amount of oxygen to your tissues, which is why you'll see people wear masks a long time, their blood or their heart rates go up, right? If you only get so many beats, it's probably not a good thing, yeah. This is what we teach. Let's go through it. So nutrition, okay, this is Dr. Wolfson, awesome guy, DO cardiologist, one of the world's foremost cardiologists here in Arizona. I've sent 2 patients over to him over the last couple of months, and he has done phone consults. And this is kind of his paleo pyramid, because it's good for the heart because it decreases what? Inflammation. Got it? If you're a patient in the office, you know that Advance Plan does that. It's basically our Advance Plan. That's what it is. You guys are taking pictures left and right, so I'm going to try and move on. Ready? Go. All right. Also, if you guys haven't been there yet, herbfamilyfoods.com, herbfamilyfoods.com, herbfamilyfoods with an S.com. Hundreds of recipes, great recipes. If you haven't gone there, go. It'll help you walk that through. Also, this is the bundle. Let me just talk about these things quickly, okay? CoQ10. If you've ever taken a statin ever in your life, you need to take CoQ10. Got it? I had a lady here earlier today. She's been through like a surgery, lots of antibiotics, and as a result, it's wiped out her body's ability to really produce a lot of CoQ10. And she started CoQ10 after she did a metabolics profile, which if you've done metabolics, it shows you that. She started CoQ10 instantly. She said, I immediately started feeling better, more energy. I'm coming back to myself again. Got it? So CoQ10. First one, vitamin D3. Okay, now why would taking vitamin D3 be good for somebody who's having issues with cholesterol or blood pressure? Because, you gotta get this, vitamin D and having higher vitamin D levels has been associated with decreased cholesterol. Do I think you should take vitamin D to decrease your cholesterol? No, but what it means is, do you know how your body makes vitamin D? From the sun, but watch this. So your sun hits your skin, and the cholesterol in you converts cholesterol, the sun converts cholesterol into vitamin D from cholesterol, which means the more sunshine you get and the higher your vitamin D, it signals your body it doesn't need as much cholesterol to convert, so it'll take it down, right? So vitamin D3, huge for this. Curcumin, C3, the highest amount of curcuminoids in any supplement that you can buy on the market today. When we first brought this out, did anybody buy it when we first got it out? It was $80 for one bottle. Do you guys see how much it is now? Look on there, it's like super cheap. This is crazy. And why? It's anti-inflammatory. Got it? It's anti-inflammatory. Next, magnesium glycinate. Some of you guys take magnesium at night to sleep. Raise your hand if you take some magnesium at night to help you sleep. I do too. If you're doing that, great. This is a daily supplement that you can take in the morning. Some of you guys have taken too much. What happens if you take too much magnesium?
You're in the bathroom a lot.
You don't have to say it, but you know. This, this is magnesium glycinate, so it won't cause you to have like a loose bowel. Got it? But it actually gives you the benefits cardiovascularly. Got it? Very important. Last but not least, Opto Omega. Taking essential fatty acid is extremely important for heart health, okay? Because you need good fats. Dirty word, exercise. Everybody say it.
Exercise.
Guys, I cannot do a talk on cardiovascular health and not tell you to move. You can't do it. You can take all the supplements in my office until they're coming out of your ears. It doesn't matter if you're not moving, okay? You have to move the body. It's made to move. Got to do it. Sorry. What does that look like, though? Do you have to do CrossFit 7 days a week? No. If you just walked for 30 minutes, walked 30 minutes a day, you would decrease breast cancer 63%, colon cancer 42%, heart disease and diabetes 85%. Just 30 minutes a day. So don't tell me you can't find 30 minutes a day just to go walk. Got it? I didn't even say speed walk. I just said walk. Okay? I walk at work a lot. I walk at work. Doesn't count. You know why?
It's not sustained.
Because it's not sustained, or you're in like work mode, like this. You relax, go for a walk, listen to good music. Got it? Exercise. It's needed. I want you to pretend it's a supplement that you bought for $1,000 tonight. You better take it. Got it? Okay? Move more. Do it with your family. Listen, people are coming for the holidays. Get out of your house. Go walk in the neighborhood. And don't wear a mask outside, for the love of Pete. Right? Viruses. Yeah, in the car by yourself. Very important. Very important. All right. So, could sunshine lower cholesterol? Watch this. Okay, watch this. This is where the equator is. Got it? So the further you go up, the further you go away. So watch this. The further you get close, guess what you see? The more sunshine that you get exposed to, the lower your cholesterol. Isn't that crazy? Sure, it's just a coincidence. Means nothing. Mindset, very important. Okay.
Stay in your home all day.
Stay in your, yeah. Please stay at home forever. No. Now let me just say this. First, I don't know what kicked into me at camp this weekend with all these doctors, but it was all doctors. It wasn't like students or new. There were some students there, but then one guy was almost 60 there, so it wasn't like new people. But I was coaching these guys at camp, and I fell in love with them because we spent from 6 a.m. until 1 a.m. every day, and they were breaking through things emotionally. I was walking them through, scars that they've gone through and why they have certain hang-ups in their life and things. It's very Tony Robbins-y with Jesus in the middle of it, but I just fell in love with them, and I saw them going back. So this was yesterday morning. I saw them going back into their world with lots of real problems. And it just broke me. And I don't cry. I probably never cried in front of any of you guys. But I broke down crying in front of 120 people because I just saw them going back to life. And they'd gotten so free. They'd gotten so encouraged and full of hope. And the morning that they were getting their bags ready to go back, the life they left is still there. And they could pick up all those burdens again, but I really wanted them to walk into, victory that they picked up this weekend. And so I just, in a moment of just like brokenness for all these people, almost like they were my kids. If your kids were leaving the house, like when my kids left for college, I remember just being broken. I was like, what can I give them to make sure they have everything they need when I know I can't be with them? What's the one thing that I can give them? Yeah, Jesus. And I said, listen, and I held my Bible and I said, listen, if you need encouragement, you go to this. If you need to revitalize yourself, you go to this. If you need some peace, you go to this. If you need to change the way you're thinking, you go to this. If you need some hope, you go to this. And I just went on and on and on and on and on and on. And sometimes, I got to tell you guys this too, we are living in an unprecedented age.
Yeah, it is.
And again, I was talking to Ryan earlier today. Ryan was in, can I just tell him? Yeah. Ryan was in the Marines. He was blown up. He had, shrapnel in his lungs and all the rest. And someone's going to tell my brother, who actually, part of his brothers that died with him when he got blown up, he's going to tell a guy who fought for our freedom to put a mask on, who has scar tissue in his lung, who should never put a mask on. Like, if anybody should throat punch somebody for getting after him without that, it should be him. And so I could see him getting like aggravated today. He was like, dude, like, we're that close to civil war. I'm gonna be in the front line. I'm like, wait. We're breathing, we're breathing. Well, I kind of like the guns part, but I like guns, he likes guns. But here, even if it's something you agree with, and we talk about the election and we're gonna win, and we emotionally get charged up again, can you see if you get outside of just being at peace and confidence and just relaxed, it could not be a good thing. You stay riled up all the time. Is that a good thing? No. What's the kingdom? It's right thinking, peace, and joy in the Holy Spirit. Now, I'm not going to preach a message, there's not an altar call, but I am going to give you some scripture tonight, and I want you to write this down. This is as much a supplement as anything you could put in your mouth. You guys ready?
Ready.
If you want to write it down. Okay? First one, Romans 14:17. It says, the kingdom of God It's not eating or drinking, but right thinking, peace, and joy in the Holy Spirit. Got it? Write that down. Don't write this, just write the scripture, Romans 14:17. Here's the other one. Luke 17:20. Luke 17:20 says, that doesn't come with observation, but within the hearts of men. Okay, within the heart. So what it means is the kingdom is not out there, it's not square footage, it's not just Texas, although I think it's part of the kingdom. It's inside of you, okay? Which means the fight is not over ground or square footage, it's over what's going on inside of you, your emotions, your mind, your will, and emotions. And then, write this one down, last one. It says in Matthew 11:12, it says, since the time of John the Baptist, the kingdom of God has suffered violence, and the violent take it by force. And it drops it right in the middle of all this other stuff it's talking about. It says, him who has ears, let him hear. And the reason it's important is because it doesn't say that which side is going to win. It says whoever is violently taking the kingdom, they're going to take it. And guess what it means to you? It means you better take that right thinking, peace, and joy. You better take it. You better grab a hold of it, and you better take it. It says, again, I won't go to too many scriptures tonight, but it says that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but powerful for pulling down strongholds and taking what? Every thought. You got to do that violently. And again, I'm not going to preach a message. Some of you guys are like, ooh, he's really pastoring tonight. Yeah, I am. And you know what? It's a time to do it. And if you think that doesn't have something to do with your blood pressure, you're wrong. And here's the thing. I'm giving you that because if you want the right mindset, and you're going to try and stay in the right mindset without having something that you're anchored to. He says he's the anchor to our soul. If you're not anchored, you're going to go left and right and center, and you're going to go, why am I like bipolar, right? Because you're not anchored. You don't have a hope that's eternal. So again, no altar call tonight, unless you feel like you want to talk to me afterwards. We can do that. But again, take those scriptures, and I want you to write them out. I want you to perseverate on them. I want you to be able to like literally quote those at any moment. Got it? And that'll take you to a lot of places for that. De-stress and rest. Here's the other thing. Sleep. Everybody say sleep. Sleep. Some of you guys do not have that as a priority in your life. I did not this weekend. I got like 2 hours, 2.5 hours a night. I don't do that. That's not me. I'm exhausted right now. I'm like, I can't wait to go to sleep. Here's the thing. On a regular basis, you need to make sure you're getting 6 to 8. 7 to 8 would be preferable. Got it? Why am I telling you that right now? Holidays are coming. All your family are going to be in town. Hopefully family. Some of you guys won't see them, but guess what that means? You may what? Stay up late and stress and get up early, all the rest. You're going to stress, period. But guess what? If you're getting some good sleep, you'll be able to adapt a little bit better. Got it? So just relax. Also, find some things that are good for you. Like Ryan and I have been threatening to get together to go shoot guns. I just like to go do stuff that I like to go do. I like to go target shoot guns and just enjoy myself. And guess what? Test my blood pressure then. Guess what it is? It's down. I'm like, yes. Pow, pow, pow. Oh, I feel so good. Right? It is. You may have something different for you. Don't judge me. But find it. All right, so sleep. Here's a crazy thing. So watch this. Changing sleep or decreasing the amount of sleeps has been, it actually increases cholesterol, HDL, triglycerides, and blood pressure, increasing all negative effects associated with sleep duration. So the less sleep you get, the worse all your blood. Also, watch this. If you ever have if you ever actually have a couple nights where you don't sleep very good and you're about to go have that blood test, don't do it. Reschedule. Do you know why? Everything's going to be bad. They'll be like, well, you need some drugs, baby. Sorry. Right? Wait till you get some good night's sleep. Okay? Everybody got it? Okay. This is Dr. Wolfson right here. So again, Dr. Wolfson, that's how you spell it. There's all his credentials. This is basically what he says for health for the heart. And guess what's right there in the middle of it? This is a cardiologist. In fact, he says you should not have a cardiovascular procedure unless it's like you're dying right now, unless you get your neck and back checked. Wow. Because the nerve supply going, this is a cardiologist, right? It's awesome. Got it? And go. Okay. Now, I'm going to hit nerve supply real fast. Some of you guys don't know my story. Mine is the heart story. Like here I am, the athlete of athletes, broke all the state records, etc. And I go from not having any issues at all to 240 tachycardic arrhythmia where my heart stops for 2 seconds at a time. Told I have to have surgery or die. Don't do it. Go get my spine checked. The nerve supply is choked off, and then guess what? I get it fixed, and guess what happens to an irreversible heart condition? Reverses because of chiropractic care. And yet you've got friends and family that don't know anything about this, and when you say chiropractic, what do? Well, a bunch of backcrackers. I gave a guy his first adjustment in my office today, which, by the way, when I did that for you guys, it was awesome. But it was a young guy, and I gave him his first adjustment, and he said, I told him what I found first, and he goes, the last chiropractor I went to goes, now you don't need an x-ray. Just lay down, we'll just get you adjusted, you don't need an x-ray. And the guy has a complete arc reversal -16 in his neck. He's got a cavity where the disc is microfractured up into his L5 bone, and he's got back pain and a rotated hip, which is supposed to be adjusted specifically exactly what he needs, not just both sides. You guys get that? So don't tell me you've tried chiropractic if you went to some joint chiropractic and someone just twisted your neck, right? Don't tell me you've tried chiropractic if you didn't have somebody who's doing something that you needed specifically, not you or you or you. Did you get that? That's what's specific. In fact, this is my favorite article when it comes to blood pressure. This was in Journal of Human Hypertension, and don't read the whole thing. It's long. Well, you can take pictures. But what they did was they did a study with a sham adjustment. So everybody thought they got an adjustment versus a real adjustment on the Atlas, which is C1, very top. The most crucial one for blood pressure. It was an 8-week study, and then they compared it with the results of the 2 top blood pressure medications, one of which was lisinopril, okay? And guess what they found? Guess which actually was better for decreasing blood pressure? The adjustments. The adjustments. But you know what's funny? When it came out in this, it was on every single news channel across the entire United States. And what's crazy is every single medical representative for the news channel goes, yeah, but you know what? You just can't run out and do that. Talk to your medical doctor first about going to your chiropractor. I'm going to show you a video. You're not going to hear anything in the video. You're going to have to let me describe it to you. What you're looking at is the heart. This right here is the right side of the blood supply, okay? I'm going to show you a heart cath where they're actually going to put a heart catheter in here, put contrast material in, and you're going to see a blockage. See that blockage right there? Yeah. Everybody see it? And you're going to see live video of when they put that in right here. There's the catheter up front, and you're going to see it go in. And if you had this, they would say this is a widowmaker. They're going to say you immediately need what? Open heart surgery, and they're going to replace that. Now watch. There it is. There's a beating heart, and you can see right there is where that blood came. Now watch, the blood is actually getting through. This is past that blockage right there, and blood is getting through. But they literally say, well, maybe it's pushing through, or it can't get enough, whatever else. He's going to show you this. Now, what you're going to see first here is you're going to see right up there. See that little black line on top? I know it's like it's glare, but right at the very top, that's the catheter. Okay. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to actually stop it right when the material comes in. This is the contrast material coming into the right artery of the heart, okay? Now, when it comes down, the most important, let's wait for the next picture. The next picture is right here. See this? This is the bottom of this artery, and the contrast material is already gotten down here before it actually gets to the part where it's blocked. Wow. Now, how could the contrast material get from there down to here before the blockage? There's only one way. There's only one way. No, because your body literally grew a piece around it, and now you can see right here is where the blockage is. But here's the thing. It's not because it's squeezing through that. It's because it goes around it, and then the blood goes up the artery, and it goes down, and this is stagnant. You literally can't even one blood cell can't hardly get through there. But what happens is you have collaterals, and the reason I'm bringing this up is you look long-term at studies where they see this, and Paulina worked at a heart catheter cardiology lab. She said if anybody walked in, they found this, they're immediately getting surgery, whether it's a stent or open heart surgery, etc. But what you find is this, when you grow collaterals, is better than a stent or open heart surgery. Which is better? Your body, with the power God put in you, doing all the things it's supposed to do magically, fearfully, and wonderfully, or cutting you open. Now, are there times for medical intervention?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. However, do you think it might be a little more than what it is? Now, where does that come? I don't know, but I'm just saying, I need you guys to realize there are times where you just do not need the stents, etc. And long term, do you think, what do you see people with stents, et cetera? Do they live longer than people who have blockage? They actually live less amount of time.
Yep.
That's okay. Is that a pretty crazy video?
That is.
Now, why am I telling you that? Because what's the one power inside of you that determines whether you need to grow collateral? Sees where it should go, how to grow it, where it should grow into, and how it does that. What's the power that's in you? It's the power that God put in you that you can call it innate intelligence. But it's in every single cell, but it's coordinated by what?
Brain.
Your brain, and it has to run down that nerve supply. And if you have a choked off, strangulated, non-functioning nervous system that's not working well, do you think your body is intelligent enough to be able to make that call? And sometimes the answer is no. And it's not because of age, it's because of dysfunction. But when you're functioning right, there's a magic inside of you that just heals cuts, gets the right acidity in your stomach, has the perfect blood pressure, et cetera, et cetera. Got it? That is controlled by the nerve system. And again, there's those risk factors. You already took a picture of them, okay? But this is why chiropractic, as part of preventative cardiovascular issues, is a priority number one. Got it? Now, when people lay on the table and they tell me, well, I still got back pain, I'm like, well, we're somewhere along the way. But then when I adjust them and I take pressure off the nerve supply going to their heart, I'm like, which is more important? You not having neck pain or you having a heart that's growing collaterals? Right? So, any questions that you guys, I feel like I missed something or I should have gone deeper in, any questions on cardiovascular or medications, anything at all? Yes, yeah, Samo?
This higher blood pressure,
Yeah.
does it cause strokes?
So if it gets to a certain point and it's elevated long enough, for instance, if I left Tim in the house with the snake forever, eventually he might actually have a worn out vessel that pops or something like that because he has it. But the body actually adapts pretty well to higher blood pressure. It's just eventually your body does succumb to stresses. It's why maintaining or figuring out how to deal with stress in your life, like during COVID, and having faith and just saying, hey, it's going to be okay. The election's going to be okay. Finances are going to be okay. Listen, we all knew reading the Bible was going to get bumpy at the end, right?
Yes.
I mean, we all knew that. So, guys, guess what? It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. The best day of your life is when you go like this. And it's your last breath. You're like, yes, yes. So it's going to be okay. Have an eternal faith. So anyway, so it can. So I don't want to underplay it, but it can. So other questions? Yeah, Joe in the back, and I'll get back to you, Joanne.
Yes, I'm trying to determine whether or not I should take the Q.
Joanne first.
Did I miss somebody?
No, it's fine. Go ahead, and I'll get Joe, and I'll get this Joanne. There's two Joannes in the room, so go ahead.
Let me just ask this quick. Do I need to take the grapeseed astride and the Q2?
The CoQ10.
At the same time, or what are we saying?
Yes, and it says on the bottle how to take them, but yes, you can take all this stuff at the same time. Yes, I love you. Yep.
I love you too.
Okay. I love your ears too, or where those are. She's awesome. So Joanne and I have like this relationship where I like dance and stuff when you get adjusted. I see you. Come on. Come on, Ryan. All right. I love you. Joe, question.
The rapeseed extract was not part of the blood pressure protocols you showed up there?
It's not, only because it's more specific if you actually have it. The other protocol is just for cardiovascular health in general. It's a bundle. What I would say is if you do have a blood pressure issue now, get the bundle, but specifically add the BP support to it. Got it?
Follow-up question, how does that, when do you take these in relation to the detox?
So detox you're going to take by itself. So you're going to take your morning, the daily detox, 30 minutes before you take any supplements. So just right when you get out of bed, take your shower, your workout, whatever else, and then come back and take your supplements. Same thing at night. If you're taking any nighttime supplements, you always take it 30 to 45 minutes before you take body detox, because the psyllium husk and activated charcoal will bind everything and keep you from absorbing it.
So you take your supplements before?
Yeah, before it, yeah. Good, excellent. Joanne.
We have a son that had blood pressure 185 over 195 and
Over 95?
95,
Yeah, 95, yeah.
And his hearing, he seems to not hear as well. Was it cause and effect?
Can be, because the atlas is related to hearing. I think I told you guys about the lady. Everybody knows about the lady I've been bragging about forever. She got her hearing back after 67 years. It was an atlas situation. It was the same thing, blood pressure and hearing. So it's now I can't diagnose it just because it was your daughter or your son? I can't just diagnose it with that, but it's a good reason to get checked. For sure, yeah, good stuff. Anybody else? Let's pray it up, and then I'll stay around for a little bit. You guys make sure you get your stuff and get home. So, Father, we love you and praise you. Thank you for your love. Thank you for taking care of us. Thank you for leading us. You never left us or forsake us. And I ask, God, that you bless every single person here with the truth, number one, for themselves, but they also are infectious with encouragement and love and hope for a lot of people that need to hear it. So, God, I just ask that you bless all of us, that you glorify yourself in these bodies that show full well that you never made junk and that there was never an emergency meeting of the Holy Trinity. And as we take small steps towards you with our health, that you take great God-sized steps towards us. So God, I ask a blessing on all of us in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, guys, have a good night.